everyone, and welcome back to the University. Thank you so much for your patience while I had some downtime in between uploading videos. My little ones got sick, and then my dog got sick, and then I got sick. It's been very fun over here. Everyone's doing much better though, so I'm getting caught up. Today we have James Hobson versus Robert Dedalius out of Thurston County, Washington. And Mr. Hobson says that Mr. Dedalius was parked at the side of the road and then suddenly swerved back onto the road, running into his car. And Mr. Hobson attempted to file an insurance claim but was denied. So, let's see what the judge has to say.
Thurston County District Court Small Claims Calendar for April 26, 2024. I understand we have James Hobson and Rob, is it Dedalius?
Yeah, that's great, Your Honor.
Okay. And also WRL LLC, is that your business?
Yeah, I co-own that business with my brother, Your Honor.
Okay. Just trying to make sure that everybody who needs to be here is indeed actually here. All right. If I could have each of you raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can put your hand down. There we go. All right. Mr. Hobson, you are the plaintiff, so you go first. Explain to me the situation and what you'd like me to know to be able to make my decision.
Okay, sir. The reason why we are here is because I was denied by the defendant's insurance company on an accident that he called. Sir, I don't know if you have access to the photos that I sent to you, but I will not. I will read my statement here. I will not go through the photos unless you ask me to look at certain photos.
As long as the other side also received the photos, and I'm sure they did, but I'll check in a moment. You don't need to go through them. I did review them.
Okay, sir. Would you like me to go ahead and read my statement then, sir?
Well, yes, give me whatever testimony you would like me to have so I can make a decision after I hear from the defendant.
Okay. On November 7th, sir, I was driving home from work at approximately 3:10 on the alternate 510 route heading home. See photos A and B. I was just heading out of the circle heading east. See photo C. I then noticed the defendant's truck parked alongside of the road in the emergency lane where you see the blue car parked in photo D. Please note the blue car in photo D is in the emergency lane, not the road. I was at the approximate point of being at the end of the meridian on the left, legally in my lane, and started to pass by the defendant's truck parked alongside of the road. Suddenly, without any warning, the defendant decided to make an illegal U-turn in front of me. No turn signals, just a sudden illegal turn sharp in front of my truck. I had no time to hit the brakes. Notice photo E, the impact spot on the center of the road. See photo F. If only the defendant would have stopped, it would have lessened the damage done to my truck, but he didn't. He was determined to finish his illegal U-turn, and he did, forcing the driver's side wheel into the median. See photo G, buckling the frame on my truck, totaling it out completely. See photo H. I have attached the letter I received from the defendant's insurance company refusing my claim, saying I was the one at fault. I have more to add if the court needs to hear more. Thank you for your time, Judge.
Okay, thank you. First, let me say before we turn to the defendant, I did not receive the letter from the insurance company. It's not in the court file.
It should have been, sir.
I understand that, but it simply isn't here.
Okay. I could read that letter to you if you'd like, sir.
I can just take, you've given me testimony that that was the substance of it. So,
Sir, if I could just read the second paragraph,
Sure.
I think it's pretty important. It says, based on the current information, our insured was attempting to turn left when you passed to the left, causing the collision. Sir, there is no place he could be turning left. He was making, even if you go by what but he states that there's nowhere for him to turn left, sir.
okay. I believe I understand your position. Is there anything else you would like me to consider?
No, sir. I think that my letter pretty much represents everything that needs to be said. I can answer any more questions if you would like, sir.
I may have questions after I hear from the other side, but at the moment, I'm fairly certain I have a good grasp of your position. So,
Thank you, sir.
okay. Mr. Dedalius, you remain sworn in. Let me hear your version, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Basically, as I left the traffic circle, I was going, the same speed that I went around the traffic circle, whatever that is, 10 or 15 miles an hour. I can't remember. But anyway, as I just left the traffic circle, I was starting to turn across the oncoming lane. It was one lane in each direction, separated by a double yellow line. And basically, right as I started to turn, I was going to turn off into this open area just on the other side of the oncoming lane to get my bearings, look at my map, turn around if needed. So basically, as soon as I started to turn across the oncoming lane, I was hit by Mr. Hobson. I never saw him coming. What he says about me being parked is just patently false. I wish I had submitted. I didn't know he was going to say that. And this idea that we locked up and I dragged him or something, it's just completely false. There was one single impact. And I can't tell you why he hit me. I don't know if he was looking at his phone or not paying attention. I can't tell you if he was trying to pass me. But basically, I never saw him coming. He hit the rear passenger door and then the panel behind that on my truck bed. So he hit the rear side of my vehicle. But I don't know why. I never heard brakes. I just felt the impact, spun me around. It caused, well, we'll talk about the damage later, but basically I checked on him. And then I called the police in his presence, and they said that, I'd reported the accident, but they weren't going to send anyone, especially if we were both talking and there were no injuries. So we were exchanging information. So I left. I made the statement to my insurance company. They called me like the next day or something. His insurance company called me the next day, made the same statement to them. And then I want to say, let me look at my notes here. It was in December 19th. I got an email. So about a month and a half later, I got an email from my insurance company, and I'd be happy to provide that to the court, saying that he had submitted a different version of the events, saying that I had jumped out of a parking spot. So, my insurance company said, well, this is completely different than what you told us the day after the accident. And I said, yeah, this is completely different. I don't know where he's getting this, but so they said that they denied his claim. They didn't believe him. And especially having changed his characterization of the event so drastically, I can tell you for certain I was not parked. I was traveling 15 miles an hour. So anyway, my insurer also said that I didn't break the law. That they said unless posted otherwise, you can turn across a double yellow line in Washington. So, I was not cited. I consider this his fault. And and another important thing, when they denied his revised version of the events, about that time, I started receiving threatening text messages from the defendant. And I gave the plaintiff, I gave the plaintiff my personal information in good faith, to resolve the case, right? It was a minor routine traffic matter. And I started receiving threatening text messages from him. It was in the evening. And I thought, well, maybe the guy's drunk or something. I'll just let him blow off some steam. I know they just denied his claim again. And then the next morning, I know where you live. I'm coming to get you. I'm going to come set you straight, this stuff. And I picked up the phone and I called the Yelm Police Department. And they said, if you're getting threats, just call your local police and they'll handle it where you are. So I live in the Seattle suburbs. I called my local police. They said that they were going to contact him. And since then, I have not received any other threats from him. But I also haven't bumped into him or anything in Yelm at the grocery store. And I'm not looking forward to doing so. I don't appreciate the threats. I'm concerned about the threats. Law enforcement is involved now, and that didn't need to happen. You know what I mean? And I also too, I offered to Mr. Hobson to settle this outside of insurance if he wanted to, and he insisted on doing the insurance. There's very few insurers left in the railroad liability scene, so our insurance rates are crazy high. But anyway, that's what he wanted to do it. So I did it the way he wanted. But basically, as a result of Mr. Hobson hitting my vehicle, I sustained $32,000 of body work, which has been completed. My insurance paid for those damages to my truck, and they're going to get that out of me in rates. I didn't win that. Here, I lost the use of my truck for 2 months. And then I'm having to deal with law enforcement because this guy's threatening my family. This guy knows my personal address. It's BS. So anyway, and I just offered to meet this guy halfway in the mediation session, just so I could have this thing out of my hair, So I'm just really tired of this, Your Honor, and just really excited to get this resolved. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Not yet. I actually may return to you for a couple of clarifications.
Judge, if I may say something, sir.
Just a moment, please, Mr. Hobson. I will be talking to you in just a second here. I'm just pulling up one of the pictures.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Hobson, I'm looking at your picture D.
Yes, sir.
And I see the planting strip, the median strip there. That is, according to your testimony, that is where the accident occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I ended up right in the center of that meridian there, sir, is where I ended up. I was kind of teed right there in the intersection there.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. The defendant said that his damage was done on the passenger side. That is totally incorrect. It was all done on the driver's side. How can it be on the passenger?
I'm sorry.
Right. We aren't going to have people go back and forth like this. It's just not going to happen. I will mute you both if you do that.
Thank you, sir.
He's correct. He is correct, though. I misspoke about it's the driver's side. Excuse me. I misspoke. He is correct.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. But speaking over each other or speaking when I'm trying to speak is not going to help either of you.
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dedalius, I believe, well, it's not that I believe, I am asking. You saw Plaintiff's Exhibit D, which is the one that has the car off to the shoulder?
No, I wasn't provided with any photos or anything. I don't have access to those. Forgive me if I missed something, but I was never given access to any of that. Can you hold it up to the screen or something? I'd be happy to take a look now. I just wasn't given them beforehand.
Okay, it's all available in the online case file, and there is a description of how to access that was made available to you.
Okay, I see it. I'm going there now.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry, I didn't realize this was posted. Okay. 12 pages. Okay. So what am I to look at, sir?
Well, what I was looking at was page 9, but if you would look at 9 and 11, please.
Okay, I'm looking at 9 now.
Nine, according to the testimony, was, although that obviously is not your vehicle, that is where Mr. Hobson says your vehicle was located approximately, not exactly. Is that at least somewhat accurate?
I mean the picture of the parked vehicle?
The picture of the parked vehicle.
Yeah, no, that's not accurate, sir. I was not parked. I was driving in the lane.
I'm not asking about whether or not it's accurate. You were parked. You were entirely in the lane?
At least mostly in the lane, yeah. I mean, I wasn't completely pulled over like that or parked or anything like that.
Okay. And picture 11 shows some debris at the very end of the median. Is that essentially where the incident occurred?
Are you asking me? Go ahead.
Judge, you're asking me, the defendant, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Sorry, I didn't want to speak out of turn. Yeah, it was just after the median. So this photo looks like there's some kind of a debris field or something after the median. So, but like I said, I was
To the best of your recollection, is that where it occurred?
For the most part, yeah, right after the median.
Okay. All right.
And that's what that photo looks like, but it's so yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. I'm not asking for anything to be completely exact. I'm just trying to make sure I have a good understanding of the situation.
Of course.
Okay, so page 6, which was labeled as Exhibit A, shows going through the roundabout and going up to the median. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I went around the roundabout and cleared the median. And then as I started to turn, that's when I was impacted. So are you saying kind of at the bottom of this where you see the arrows coming out
That's
and going?
that's what I'm looking at. Yes. And you were both headed the same direction?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks accurate, I would say.
Okay. All right. All right. I think I know legally what the decision is here, but I will ask first, just to make sure all bases are covered. Mr. Dedalius, is there anything else you would like me to consider before I make a decision?
I don't think so. Like I said, I'm just looking, I just want resolution of this case and no further contact with the plaintiff. I can't think of anything, Your Honor. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hobson, you are the plaintiff. So you get the last word. Is there anything additional you would like me to consider?
I would just ask you, sir, to look at the facts of the case. And I don't want no trouble with the defendant. He is correct. I was very upset when I got the denial letter from his insurance company. I was very upset, Your Honor, but I have not contacted the defendant since then. It's been months. So I agree. I was upset, Your Honor, when I got the letter from his insurance company. But like him, I want nothing more to do with this man. This has just been a pain for me for months now. So I just want to get this done, Judge. That's all, just like the defendant does.
Okay. All right, thank you. So looking at the facts that I have, I find Mr. Hobson's version to be the more credible version, and here is why. If a turn is going to be made, it is not allowed to be made unless or until it is safe to do so. Now, what makes me make my decision that direction is unless Mr. Dedalius's truck was off to the right, there would be no room because of the median strip. There would be no room for Mr. Hobson to come up along the left side. And given where things occurred, in order for it to have occurred that way, the facts look to me as though whether he was still moving or not, looks to me as though Mr. Dedalius, and he may not even have realized it, that he pulled to the right in anticipation of kind of swinging wide to make that left turn. That is the exact situation that is the reason that it's required, whether it's a left turn or a U-turn, it actually doesn't matter. But that's the exact reason that a turn can't be made until you have verified that it is safe to do so. Now, my decision does not change what the insurance company decided. This has nothing to do with the insurance company. I am finding in your favor, Mr. Hobson. I will be reviewing your request in just a moment here. But I do want to say again, as I said before, at least one side in each case is going to walk away from here unsatisfied, and frequently both. Mr. Hobson, how did you come up with the dollar amount for the vehicles? Do you have receipts?
And so it's a blue book value that I got off of the internet, Your Honor. That was just the blue book value that I was able to receive off of the computer or the phone.
Okay.
It's the Kelly Blue Book value of the truck, sir. The truck had 150,000 miles on it, Your Honor. I had just barely had the truck for less than a year. I'm really partial of the Ford Rangers. I've had several of them. It took me a long time to find this truck. I hadn't even had it a year yet before the accident happened. They're well known for having, I had another one that had 350,000 miles on it, had no trouble with it, other than just some exhaust hole manifold. They're really dependable trucks, Your Honor, and they're getting really hard to come by. But that's the Kelly Blue Book value of the truck.
Okay. I will say before I fill this out, if there are any threats made, and it sounds as though there may have been, you probably owe Mr. Dedalius an apology at a minimum. That is not part of small claims, and I am not making a ruling on that. But if there were, I think you owe him an apology. Even if he simply understood them to be threats, you have agreed you were upset. I think that would be proper.
I have no problem with that, sir. I have no problem at all. I was a little upset, and I apologize to Rob.
How was the defendant served, Mr. Hobson?
They were served by the Thurston County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, and so no fee for that, or was there?
There was a fee.
What was the?
I think it was about $150 because they had to serve them both.
If we can have an answer before I write on this piece of paper, I will give you the service fee. But if we don't have that answer before I write, and I've already filled out pretty much everything except that,
Okay, just a sec, I do.
Go.
Sir, I know it was about $130.
In the other room and ask the person who knows. Go ahead and step in the other room and ask your wife or whoever it is who knows.
You have that receipt paper that I gave you with all the stuff on that? No, this is for your truck. Your up there. I don't know. Yeah, you waive that. Just go ahead and waive that, sir. I don't have no proof of it.
Okay. Okay, I've signed a judgment in the amount of $3,550, including your service or your filing fee. That will be in the court file for you to access. Mr. Hobson, Mr. Dedalius, this sounds like it was a very unfortunate situation. And realistically, if not for that median strip there, I could easily have decided the other way. I'm just not able to see how you could have gotten alongside him if he weren't off to the right-hand side. But I've made my decision. The judgment will be in the case file, and this case is resolved. That will be everything for this morning. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. I will respect your judgment. Mr. Hobson, can you please give me your address real quick while I have you on the, if you don't mind, Your Honor?
If
So
Mr. Hobson is going to agree to that, certainly. You might send it through chat instead of out in the open air. If you're able to.
I understand. I understand. Okay, so Mr. Hobson, you still have my. I deleted all of your text messages, so I don't have your phone number. Can you text me your address, and then I'll send you a release, and we'll send you the payment for the judgment.
I appreciate that, Rob, and I'll send you my address.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
And one final thing I would like to say, sounds as though it may not be necessary, but Mr. Dedalius, you can, of course, appeal my decision. Very likely that would wind up costing you more than the decision I've just made, but that's not my decision. That's your decision whether or not to appeal. So just wanted to make sure you are aware of that.
Thank you. Mr. Hobson, you were trying to say something?
I was just, I'm sorry about Rob just having to happen, and I will send you my address.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Rob. Take care, buddy.
Likewise.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate your time.
In this case, I feel like Mr. Julius even acknowledged it himself in his opening that there was one lane going in each direction. So how could Mr. Hobson have been passing him on the left if Mr. Dedalius was fully in the lane and it was a one lane going his direction? So I think this one was a pretty good decision. How about you? Let me know in the comments. See you soon.